So we're doing our walkthroughs a little bit differently for a little while, just to see how it goes. Instead of having the holds and then put them on the wall and doing the walkthrough before we've actually climbed on them, what we've done this time with this set of holds is we've actually climbed on them, taken them off the wall, and we'll do the walkthrough now. This week we're talking about the HRT Atlantis set. It's a fairly big old set, 6 holds. HRT are from Europe, but you can get HRT holds in North America because Waltopia actually get them shipped across, so when they're building their walls they get the rest of the container full up with holds. So they have a limited stock, but they get them a couple of times a year, so it's pretty good. So let's go. HRT Atlantis, little HRT logo. These guys actually take pretty much any bolt you want to throw into them. They have a nice system where it takes martini heads and normal head bolts. All of them have a set screw hole, and all of them have, I'm not sure if you can see it, but there's a little box here with its number on it. What you're looking at is, they call them slopers, but you know, it's a kind of a funny thing, they're not really. Big holds, for their size they're very light, and they're a thing called composite, not composite, composite. All of them are hollow backed, like this, so it means they're very light and they're very strong. So strong in fact that I threw one of these off of a 2nd story balcony to a concrete floor, and it bounced and got a bit scuffed up. Didn't break, didn't chip, a couple of little scuffs, and that's it. So, you know, 2 floors to concrete, these things are very strong. But HRT say they're slopers. Now, depending upon the wall you put them on, they are slopers, but generally they're not. They end up being more like big pinchers actually. They're just big pinchers. If you catch it like this, it is a nice big slope. What you're going to notice is there's lots of these lines, lots of grooves on these guys, and you think they'd actually be quite painful. But when you first get these guys, the texture's very, I'd call it kitten soft. They feel very like you're stroking a panther, I guess. And they're actually really nice. You know, these lines actually allow you to get a different grip on the hold. You know, we've been using these guys as like big open pinches. You know, you can, on a fairly shallow angle, use the top as slopes, but you're always going to just end up just trying to pinch anyway. You know, very big holds, like full hand holds, and your fingers just kind of hit into these little grooves and away you go. You know, we even put these guys on the roof and they were pretty good. Number 2, you know, is a bit more like a slope than you think it's going to be. Again, look at the hollow back. They do have the set screw holes, but we never use them because where they have their backs cut out, there's a slight recess where the bolt goes, and the holes seem to suck to the wall and don't seem to spin. We torqued one of these up a lot downstairs, and you know, we backed off. Like most people can with a T-wrench get to about 12, maybe 15 pounds of foot torque. We had these up to 30, but we're using a great big torque bar that we can set to a pressure and a scaffold pole to actually pull it. But look at this guy. Again, great big, you know, not smooth, there's all these little dimples, great big open hand slope. But you always seem to find yourself catching around the outside edge. You know, always end up pinching on these guys. Very easily matchable, and again your fingers just hit these little dimps and away you go. You could almost, if you really had to and it was in a very bad position, you can almost crimp on these guys. But this one's not so good as an undercut. You can't really undercling on it unless you get you have to be very high to get an undercut on that guy. But again, we end up mainly pinching it. Look, great big sloping pinch, just huge one-handed douche. These things are pretty big. They come in at XL. Well, they say XL. This one's XL 258, which is a little bit anonymous, but where you go. So look, great big ledge here. A couple of fingers. Get yourself on. On the 45, you just get it, go, and just crank through on it. It's actually really quite positive considering it's actually a big slope. Mainly because of, again, the lines. There's these little dimples in here. You just get your hands in, kink, get on it, and just pull. Same thing, turn it around the other way. Great big, wonderful pinch. Again, completely matchable. Really nice, really big. Again, these things are super, super, super light. Number 4. This is the guy I actually threw off the roof. And if you can see, there's a little bit of scuffing where it hit face down right on the bolt hole and it did nothing. This guy does have a slight chip out of the corner, but that was actually from when we got it. It wasn't from when we threw it off the roof. This guy is actually a fairly large sloper. Like, great big, open hand, get on it. Really nice 45-degree wall. It's actually quite hard to pull on this guy. It's a little bit hard, but you can do it because, again, you just get on the side, get your fingers in the little grooves, and you just pinch. You just pinch either side of this guy, and you are laughing. This guy's the deepest one out of the lot. Great big, open hand, slopey pinches. They're not full-on slopers, but that's the way it goes. And now we come to a couple of anomalies in the set, which is the last 2 holes, which is these guys. They're not slopers. In fact, they're actually kind of evil. But if you look at them and see how thin they are, they're still hollow back. So these things are super, super light. If you've got a slab, you want some of these. These are great. There's only one really positive error on this guy, and it's just here. Just here, there's this thing with all the grooves. You can get in, and it's just 4 fingers, 1 pad, pad and a half. You get in and just crank on it. The rest of the hold, you know, there's a little pinch here if you go quite wide. This side is completely useless. So if you're going to set it on a slab, you set it like this, so people have got to really palm on it. You know, they get some good positive friction on it, or just pinch down the bottom corner and go. But look, it's really thin, but it's hollow backed. And I don't mind throwing these things around because they're indestructible so far. Last one, again, check how thin it is. Still got a hollow back. This guy is possibly the most useless one out of the entire set because there's not much on it. Again, you're looking at, well, 3 fingers, 1 pad here. If you go the other side, you've got a dimple just here. You can just kind of crimp on, but you know, it's a big flat feature essentially. But slabs, you know, you can get a fairly wide, tenuous pinch on this guy, but it is really hard and it is very, very wide and it is just fingertips. You get it wrong, you do the whole snapping your fingers in the air when you're trying to pull on it. Again, chuck this guy on a slab, have a good old time on it. All of the holds had their date of birth. This guy was the 6th of the 5th, 2009, and all of them have a quality assurance stamp. All of these guys have been looked at, and all of them have been tested to make sure they're fine before they come out of the factory. But again, super light, super strong, really quite interesting shapes. 4 of them, slopey pinches, the other 2, really only good for a slab. So that's the HRT Atlantis. It's my birthday. Look, see how committed I am? It's my birthday and I am doing a walkthrough for you guys. It's probably why I look like such a bag of crap today. So that's the HRT Atlantis. Big, hollow backed holds. 2 holds don't really fit, but you know, they go pretty well on 45. We stuck them up on the motivation volumes up on the roofs. You can really get big double hand matches and pull out on them. They're much, much more positive than you think they're going to be. Slopers, yeah, you know, you can hit and slope, but generally you're always going to get that thumb catch. It's always going to end up being a pinch with these guys. They're pretty interesting holds. I would say we'd get them on the wall and see how it goes, but we've had them on the wall. We know how it goes. Watch the video. Happy birthday to me. Peace.